Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum assalam.
Welcome to Skill. Once again, I welcome my special guest today, guest speaker, Ma'am Tasneem, and all the viewers that we have on our page. Ma'am, I would request you to please check your mic because my voice is being echoed.
Okay, I can hear you very well.
Yeah, and I can hear my voice as well from your side. So.
Okay, is it better now?
Yes. Somebody from the audience, if they could tell us that are we both clear so that we can start our session. Now, can you hear us, Mariam and Fan? Okay, we'll start our session.
Is it clear, Fatma? Is it clear? Clear now?
Yes, it's clear now.
Okay.
Yes. First of all, a very, very warm welcome to you, Ma'am Tasneem. Welcome on Skill.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for taking out your precious time to come on board and share your experience and your knowledge with our viewers. Because mashallah, you're such an experienced person that, including me, maybe I might not get a chance to meet you in person. But today, having you live, I might ask all the questions that I have in my mind, in my heart regarding online teaching and religious education. I would like you to introduce yourself, as we already aired your, mashallah, say, your flyer. You have 25 years of experience in this field. And I want to ask you that were you also an accidental teacher like us? Like, I want to know from where did the journey begin?
All right. Yes, I was an accidental teacher. Actually, I got married and then went to Madagascar after my marriage. And over there, I started my teaching journey as a teacher of religious studies. And then when we came back to Karachi, and then I had a lot of time on my hands, and this opportunity came up. So I started, and I realized I liked it, and I was good at it also. So that is how it started. And Alhamdulillah, I had some great people to mentor me along the way. So, and then as a teacher, I had I had the opportunity to work with great people who mentored me also. And then as a head of section at Badri High School, that was around 8 years ago. So as a head, then again, I had a great team. So even if I talk about them as my achievements, they're not really my achievements. They are a team's achievement, really. So then, as a head, if you would like to know, so, well, we have done a lot of things that, might sound like, wow, if, and at that time we felt like, no, this can't happen. So a few years ago, we decided to do a stage program entirely of the pre-primary section. So at that time, it was really, like, how can all these little children come up on stage? And we had decided that no teacher will come up on stage. So yes, it took us a long time, for practicing and all that. But Alhamdulillah, the end result was so amazing because we believed in the children, really. All of us, we believed in the children. And it was such an amazing result that when I was selected as a speaker at Guest Dubai, this was the talk that they liked and they wanted me to speak about, of, the how and why of getting these little children on stage. And last year only, we had this science fair in school. And at least personally, I've never heard of pre-primary being a part of a science fair. But we took up this as a challenge, and we, all of us, we thought that why not? Our children can also do everything that elder children can do. And yes, they can. And so they went through the whole process, the scientific approach. So they observed and they experimented and they recorded data with the help of the teacher. And finally, they presented on the day of the science fair. So this was another, achievement, and a lot of other achievements that,
Yes, even
you
we
know,
saw the pictures of that science exhibition, and it was really wonderful
yes.
to see such small children. I wanted to ask you that you always did you always wanted to work with such small children of ages like from 4 and onwards, pre-primary? Did you actually have the temperament? Because honestly, if you ask me, it is very hard. If you ask me, I would never go for early years children. There has to be an excellent teacher with great temperament to work with these kind of age children. Even we get sometimes we irritated with our own children of that age group. So did you always wanted to work with that age group?
Uh, I don't know if I've always wanted to, but that was the opportunity I got. But then after I started, I also got an opportunity to work in the pre-primary section and with, secondary children, the elder children. But I realized that I like this best and I came back to pre-primary because this was what I really wanted and what I really, this was my passion. So yes, this is what I really want to do.
Yes, so it's like even in the current scenario, we know that you are, mashallah, conducting successful online classes for these children of early years. So, are there any challenges that you are facing?
It's something new, Fatma, so the challenges are definitely there, and the challenges are there for everyone, not just for pre-primary. The challenges are there for all levels and all age groups. But for pre-primary, obviously the challenges are a little, bigger and a little more challenging, you can say, because these children are very young. So it's not something that they can do on their own. It's not something they can easily understand on their own, and they really require that human touch. So that is where the challenge is, having to sit in front of a gadget, that gadget that we've always discouraged them to use a lot. That is what we've always said, that restrict your mobile usage and restrict TV. So this is something that now we want the children to do, and it's something that we have no control over. So yes, that is a challenge. Another challenge is external challenges like electricity, and the number of devices that parents have. A parent can have three children in just one device. So that is another very real challenge that we are facing. Along with that, time. Up till now, there has been a fine line between teaching or schooling and parenting. But now those lines have become very blurred, because parents have become a part of this school. So that, giving that time to the children is another challenge that we face, because obviously these little children do need time. So again, as I said, that they require the human touch. So that is a really great challenge, because a device is very impersonal, and it takes time for a children, as it is in a physical, school situation, to build a rapport with the teachers, with the fellow students. So this way it is even more challenging.
Yes,
So
I did you actually train your teachers for during this online class session? Because when one on one we have a child in the class, we can hug the child, we can play with the child. As you said, that touch is very necessary with children of such young age. So did you actually had some plan when all this pandemic started? Did you plan something and did you train something so that you can actually give an effective lesson to these children so that they can sit in front of the camera for like 2 hours or 3 hours to take online class?
see, when all this started in March, right? So at that time also it was the end of term. So the whole school had already started, we started off with Zoom classes. So, and since it was the end of school, I mean, nobody really was expecting that even these little children will have classes, but we went ahead with it for two reasons. First of all, at that time, we didn't know what is going to happen. So, and it was important to get that flavor of online classes for the teachers as well and for the students as well. although it was just 2 or 3 weeks that we took those classes, and then there was a summer vacation. But still, we got used to it. And yes, you're there, Fatma? Yes. We got used to it. And when, after the vacations, we realized that this is how we are going to have to start the new year as well. So it was a lot easier. Along with that, I had the opportunity to be, you can say, mentored or coached by, someone, a great educationist who is already working with the early years, and especially in online teaching, and he really helped us out in what, organizing things and how we can go about it. So that helped a lot. And in these days, people have become very generous, so there are a lot of online things free for free that teachers have availed. And we have all availed of all those resources, like these resources that you're providing, doing an excellent job. So yes, we really, organized ourselves very well before starting the online classes in the new year.
uh, yes, I and one thing that with small children, we have to keep on changing the methodology. We don't like it. We have to change the way always, so that they keep their interest into the lesson.
Yes.
So how are you managing it online? How are you managing, keeping in mind that our objectives are not ignored, the objectives of the lesson? How
Okay.
are you managing that online?
Yes. Uh, Once again, obviously, there are a few limitations also, and along with that, there are some extra benefits also that we get as a result of these online classes. So, when at a time it was, for example, in a real school scenario, you had to book the TV or the computer lab. Here, you have access. If you want to show something really great that you want to show the children, it's no problem. You don't have to book the computer lab at all. So that is one good thing out of it. And yes, again, you can't do the same thing. Even when we were in school, you had to keep on changing your strategies, you can say, because uh, with such little children, it is all about repetition. You can't say that, okay, today I've introduced a to them, and that's it. Now they know a, they know how, what it looks like, how it sounds, what are the vocabulary words, how to write. They don't. They need a lot of repetition to really understand what air looks like, what vocabulary starts with it. And if you keep on doing the same things, if you keep them giving them in the same way, obviously the children are not going to listen to you. They're going to get bored. And that is the same challenge. The mode of teaching may have changed, but the challenge is the same, and teachers are taking it up in the same, with the same enthusiasm and passion that they used to before. So I think, that there are a lot of things with online teaching that we can do, like one example I gave you. And a few other strategies that we, that we understand as we go along. So, for example, I'll share this, that one thing that I really believe is that, for little children, the children need to see the teacher, they need to hear the teacher, right? So, for example, I find this great storytelling or book reading from the internet that I would like to share with my children. So, one thing that we do is we show the video, but the teacher herself tells the story at the back. So, children, because the teacher knows her children to a certain extent, obviously they're new children still, but and she knows where to develop the interest, when she has to do what. So when the teacher tells the story, it is something else altogether, rather than just picking it up from somewhere. So those are little things that really make a difference.
Yeah, and the way teacher actually adds the intonations into the story, the children, they
Yes.
are so much focused, they take so much interest. Ma'am, we'll take the questions from the audience as well during our session,
Okay.
so that
Okay.
I don't want any question to be missed. Zaina Muhammad here says it is very difficult to engage such children. How do people manage to do that?
All right.
Like by
Okay.
such children, we mean small children.
Okay. Yes. So you mean online? All right. So, like I said, that teachers are coming up with different strategies, and they, there are some things that you can do really well online, and there are some things that are difficult. For example, we had, what we felt was a really great challenge. Language is something that is very easily, you can do a lot with language. For example, poems, stories. There's a lot of things that you can do online also. But the main challenge that we felt was writing. Children need a lot of help when they are starting, because pre-primary is all about pre-writing exercises or starting to write exercises, right? So children are just learning to write. So if they're just learning to write, they need to really see the teacher writing it on the board. They need to see the teacher
I think there is some net disruption from Tasneem's side. We were taking some really good advices from her. Inshallah, she will join us back in a minute. As you all know, that it is already a challenge for all the teachers of all the levels actually, for you know for to keep the students engaged. So it is for early years it is a more bigger challenge. So that is why Ma'am Tasneem is here to advise her, to share what she is doing as the head of pre-primary in Al Badri School, where mashallah say they are performing very well. The students and the parents are very satisfied. Miss Ma'am Tasneem will be here in a minute. Yes, I can hear you, ma'am.
all right. Okay. So I was just saying that, where were we? I'm sorry. Yes, to engage such young children.
Yes,
All right.
see,
So the real difficulty that we faced was with writing. Children need to see the teacher writing it. They need to, they need a lot of practice with that. And that is something that is not very easy to do online. But, we came up with a lot of strategies, especially with blended learning. So, we were able to record videos of the teacher doing it. We were able to find, such resources where it is easier for the child to see very clear how writing is done. So, Alhamdulillah, we are also learning along the way.
yes, it's like a new experience for us as well for
Oh,
teachers
yes,
because this
definitely.
complete virtual learning did not happen before this pandemic. No school
Yes.
actually was completely dependent on internet and gadgets. We have Gulshan Jindani. She asked, early years children needs hands-on activity. Very important, making
Yes.
umbrellas and some cotton buds activity. How do we manage that online?
All right. Now, this is something, yes, this was another challenge that we faced, and we have an activity period, right? A session every day where the children, a day before, the parents are, they are already informed of what material the children require. And one thing that we really keep in mind is that we are all, restricted to a certain extent. It's not easy for the parent also to just go down and get some things from the stationery. So we try to, find things that are available at the home for our activities. You know, so and then we tell them a day before that this is the activity we are going to do. For example, tomorrow I think one of the classes is going to do matching socks. So we've just told the parents that give the child 8 to 10 pairs of socks. So then they are going to mix them up and match the pairs. So these are things that little things that, and then we do it there and then with the children. We tell them and the children do it, and there's a lot of excitement. You can see it because and then as soon as they've done it and they want, like in a real classroom, they want the teacher to see it right away what they've done. So yes, we are doing all those things also. Obviously the parents support and the parents help is required a lot in this situation. So what we were before doing ourselves in the school environment, now we continuously are in a constant rapport with the parents, and we need the parents' help in all these things. And Alhamdulillah, all parents are really just as excited, just as passionate about their children's education, and they support us. But again, it's a two-way street. We also
for
take care
the
that
particular
parents don't
assignment
have
that
to.
you assign?
I'm sorry.
Yes,
I'm sorry, I didn't get your
please
question.
please complete.
Uh, yes, I was just saying that we
I was
also,
asking.
make sure that parents don't have to go out of their way, for things, and we try to make it as easy as possible and achieve our objective as well. Yes,
Yes,
Fatma.
I was asking regarding the parents only, that what do they respond positively if you assign or you give a home? What is their reaction? Like, do they
Okay.
cooperate, or they those, because as a child
Yes.
of 4 years old, he cannot sit alone. He has to be, he has to be with his mother or father so that he can concentrate.
I think, Fatma, the response has been amazing. Where before assignment or task was an impersonal line in the diary. Okay, all right, make your child do so and so activity. Now it is something that the parent is experiencing firsthand, because the parent is sitting with the child. So she realizes what the task is all about. He or she knows that, how excited my child is to do that task. So I think there is a lot more response regarding tasks that are given to little children. For example, in the last week only we had one class who as part of their senses activity, they had to measure and make a glass of rose milk. So everybody was so excited, and they all had to share pictures of their. I don't think there was even one child whose pictures we did not receive, because parents have become a part of the classroom. So the response is way better than what it was before.
Right, and they are also enjoying the classes, and they
Oh,
are
yes.
actually enjoying the activity with the children. So, ma'am, how do you make sure that concepts, as you said, writing, aani chahiye, and everything, reading, but values are also a very important part. Being Muslims as well, and being,
Yes.
at a position like, mashallah, you are. It is our, like, we have to make sure that they learn the concepts as well as the values. How do you take these two things together in your
Okay.
organization?
As in the online classes, you mean?
Yes, I want you to share your experience in the normal school scenario also. How do you do that? And now, what changes did you do to take concept and values together? How are you doing it
All
online now?
right. Okay. All right. See, the values and life skills are more important in this young age, rather than just imparting knowledge, because what is given to the child at this age is like engraved in stone. So that is why what is given to them at this age becomes a habit. It becomes a life forming habit, and it will stay there with them for life. An interesting thing that we've observed after these online classes have started is, those children who were in a habit of coming late to school are still coming late for the online classes, because that habit has not been formed. So those children who were not very careful with their appearance, during school, before the lockdown, are still in the online classes also not careful about their appearance. So when habits are formed at a young age, for example, punctuality is formed as a young age, even as an adult, that child, that habit becomes a part of his life. So these skills and these values, helping, sharing, empathy, these are really important, uh, and that is what we do. As teachers of young learners, these are the things we really take care or make sure that these values and skills are imparted to children. It's not just about imparting knowledge to them. Now, there are some things, that might not be very easy in an online classroom, because obviously children are not there to share things with each other, and children are not there to, work things out or problem solve. So obviously these things are difficult as part of the online classes. But again, once again, parents' help in this is really important, because these are the things. Even before, values are something that you cannot do on your own, a school cannot do on their own. It has to come from both sides. So for example, if at school a teacher is telling a child that these words are not to be used, but the child hears those words being used in his surroundings, he is obviously going to get confused. Do I use these words? Do I not use these words? So values are something that has to come from both sides. So, and once again, the parental role has become very important, because children are with parents now full time. There was a time when they were in school for 5 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, but now they are at home the whole time. So, and so with their help, and with the parents' support, there are a lot of things that we can do and we are doing. Yes, Ben. Yes, Fatma.
Surely, we all are working really hard to give our 100%. Uh, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you very well.
Can you hear me, Ma'am Christine?
Yes,
Yes,
yes, I can hear you. Can
my
you hear
next
me?
question was like, do you think this online teaching is? Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Next question to you is: do you think that this online teaching is leaving a gap between the normal teaching and in the because these are tender minds, these are really small children. Are we can we actually give the same kind of concepts and like we used to do it, like we used to give in the classrooms? Aren't we leaving there's a lack between the normal teaching and online teaching? Do you think it is this way, or you think that no 100% a teacher can deliver the lesson like she used to do in the classroom?
Okay. See, we are trying our best to give the children what they require, but there are some things that are, very difficult to do in an online classroom. Like I said before, the human touch, that interaction with the teacher, with the adults, that interaction with friends, that is, something that is very difficult, and it takes a lot of effort to achieve through a device, And another very important thing that children get at school, in the school environment, is that social interaction. When children meet children their own age, when they, make friends, when they fight with each other, when they make up with each other, when they form groups and then play with each other as a team, they problem solve, come up with their own solutions to things. These are, like I said, these are life skills: problem solving, teamwork. These are things that children really need to learn at a young age. And in this scenario, this is one thing, that I feel might be missing from their lives. So I hope that we get out of this phase very soon, and the children get to, mingle with children their own age and learn all these things from each other. But because what we learn from each other, I mean, there is nothing like it. Rather than someone telling you, when you learn it together, that is something else altogether.
Collaboration,
Yes.
learning through collaboration. We
So
have this question from the audience, and this was actually my next question also. Like, we all are working mothers. We are taking classes of other children, whereas at the same time, our children also have classes. Uh,
yes.
so Mariam just spoke my heart out how you people are facilitating mothers who are also teachers by profession in the same school. How are you doing that in Badri?
Okay. So, if we are talking about just the online classes, so this was a really difficult, time when we were, thinking about things, how we will go about it, uh, because there were a lot of things, back and forth of the timings, especially, what time will suit whom. And then, after a lot of discussion and thinking about it, we divided the time, so there is a time for primary and the time for secondary, and then, we divided the time for pre-primary. So a few of the classes are with the secondary, a few of the classes are with the pre with the primary. So, and that is how, and rather than a whole 5 hour day like in normal school the children would have, we've uh, condensed it into 2.5 hours. So, and the children are only right now through online, because a lot of things might not be difficult, for example physical education, and these are things that are not very easy, although we are trying to incorporate it, because there are some things that are very important. Neck exercises, eye exercises, these are very important things that the children need to continuously be doing if they're sitting in front of a device the whole time. So that is how, we've tried to help parents who have 2 or 3 children in the same environment, and in the same way those parents who are already teaching. So hopefully, the time is such that they would be able to manage. Obviously, it can't, everything can't work for everybody. So sometimes, people
Correct.
have to juggle things and adjust.
And you rightly mentioned that. I also saw some few schools. They actually they publish the timetable from eight starting from 8:30 till 2 o'clock, like the way they used to have in the school. And I wondered that how are the children going to sit that long in front of the computers or their gadgets. So one more question that
Yes.
I don't want to miss from the audience, that is from Farida. Sometimes the child continuously during this how to manage them. Like I gave you an example about different schools who are actually doing that, and your school is actually just giving 2.5 classes per day. That is, I think,
Yes.
quite
And for
convenient. That
pre-primary, it's 2 hours, counting the break that we have in between as well, a 20,
that's
15 minute break.
that's quite convenient. I think that would be convenient for the child and even for the parents who is sitting with that. So for can I would like you to answer this question for her.
Okay. Yes, all right. So, first of all, our children don't sit in one place at all. Some are lying on the floor, some are lying on their beds, some are, just roaming around, some are on their cycles the whole time, but they are listening, you know. So, because these are very little children, and in school also, I mean, in an actual classroom also, these are the things they would be doing. Some children would sit under the table the whole time because they don't want to sit on a chair. Some children will just be roaming around, and that is what they do in this scenario as well. Another thing that we encountered in the first week with the very little children who are in playgroup and in reception mainly, especially in playgroup, because these are very 2.6, 2.8 years old, and they've just started school and they have no idea why the mother is making them sit in front of a device. So we had a lot of issues in the beginning. So, obviously, it is very important that children, whatever the mode, children have to learn, and children have to enjoy learning. So you can't just make a 3-year-old sit in front of the mobile by force. So we came up with a few, things, and hopefully, we are going to launch it in the next week, hopefully. So we, first of all, we started an Instagram account for, especially for the pre-primary children, where we will post all their activities, on that group, which parents can also, so it will be like a motivation. So if parents can see their children's work posted on the Instagram, it is obviously, they feel happy. So hopefully, we've just started it, so we are still getting in the hang of things. Another thing, after this, the first week, when we had a lot of concerns from parents of playgroup and reception, we are working, and inshallah we will launch it very soon on a YouTube channel, which will have additional resources for parents whose children do not sit for that class, you know, because obviously very young children, it is very difficult, and especially, although playgroup is just 1 hour, but still it is difficult. So these additional resources will be, available to parents whenever they want, as many times as they want to see it. And along with our parents, I hope it will help parents, other parents of very young children as well. Fingers crossed. And I, inshallah, I'll let you know as soon as we launch it.
Yeah, and that's really inspiring that normally schools don't use such social media platforms for such productivity, and you're using all these Insta and YouTube for and you're using it in a really positive way. And I think, and I hope and I pray that you get the positive response and excellent response, mashallah, for all the hard work that you're doing for the children. One thing that is that bothers me as a parent, for example, if my I have a little boy who goes in the pre nursery, and according to the lesson plan, he should be able to write by the end of the year A, B, C, and D. But what if he doesn't know that after the end of the year he is not able to do that, because the way the teacher teaches, I might not be able to teach after 1 month. As the news, we are hearing rumors that the school might open in the month of July or in the month of August. If the children who are coming to you are not up to the mark that you were expecting, do you have a remedial plan for that?
Fatma, with the kind, with the by condensing 5 hours into 2 hours, I cannot expect, that a child will be up to that mark that they would be in a normal school. And even in normal school, when schooling is on, for example, last year only we had a teacher who had come from, a very traditional kind of setup. And I told her, at the beginning, go slow, go slow, because these children have just started to write. So there's no need to make them, just start writing. So she was really worried, and she said, "Okay, my in my previous school, by this time the children were writing pages and pages." And I said, "Why? When the child has just begun to hold a pencil, why do you want to write him to write pages and pages? There is no need, and they will pick up, at their own pace. The children will pick up." And that is what happened. After a month of free writing exercises, the children were well onto their way, into writing. So I'm sure once we begin school, the children, they will take time, but once they start, there's no stopping them. So I'm, confident that these children are going to again surprise us with what they can do.
Great. So I want you to like, if you just scroll down to your news feed on Facebook, you see on different pages new teachers who have entered into the field of teaching, especially early years teachers. They are actually facing so many problems teaching online. Because
Okay.
there are new teachers, they are new into the field. I want you to give them some tips so that they can do that, they can follow those tips, and have effective teaching and learning in their online classroom.
Okay. First of all, for all new teachers of the early years, I would like to say that don't teach these children just because you have nothing else to do and are sitting at home and want to do something, pass the time. Please don't do that. Teaching young children is not about passing the time, or and this is what these are real words that I get to hear, that actually I want to teach primary and secondary, but I have to go my way up, and I have to gain a little bit of experience. And I say, "See, my children are not for gaining experience. These children also need as much passion, as much enthusiasm, as much dedication from the part of the teacher. So if you are just passing the time, please don't teach little children. But if you're really passionate about what you're doing, and as far as online classes are there, there's a lot of help, like I said before, and there are a lot of people out there to help you. So take help. These are not things that you can do on our own. We have a great IT team who have supported us all the way, each and every teacher. I myself, even for this Facebook Live, I'm sure Ms. Zainab and Ms. Rashida would have told you that I asked them so many questions. So it's not something that comes easily to me. But I had, help, and I understood MS Teams, because that is what we are using, and now I'm using it quite comfortably. So take help. in the online classes. Now, that is as far as technology is concerned. For teaching, if you're passionate about what you're doing, I don't think there's any stopping you. You will find ways to teach, and you will find ways to do it in a way that is really the best for your children. So that is what I'd like to say to all the teachers out there. And anything else,
there there are so many teachers in the audience who are actually, they are so much inspired with the way you are talking, such a polite way, in a polite way. There are so many, females who are just appreciating on this. I want you to tell me, agree or disagree, pre-primary section is the pillar of a good school organization. Agree or disagree?
it is, but it is one of the pillars, Fatma. I think primary is just as much a pillar and secondary is just as much a pillar. So it's one of the pillars of a good school. You can't just say that it is the only pillar of a good school. So yes, it is. I mean, you can't say that no, 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 this is extra something. No, that is not there. Like I said, that these life skills and values are inculcated at this age, and what is inculcated at this age is going to help the child to self-learn. Once these skills are there of learning, of independently problem solving, then there's no stopping a child. Then you don't need to sit with a child and make him learn something. The child will learn on his own. So
And
yes, it is one of the pillars.
we teachers, we always have some bad experiences also in our life, like bad experiences in a sense, very problematic children sometimes we
Okay.
come across. So like a child who becomes a challenge ultimately for the teacher, to make him learn or to make him sit. When you were working as a teacher, do you remember any such kind of child who was, is still in your mind, that was really a challenge for you? You actually really worked day and night, and he that child actually came into your dreams also.
Well, I don't know about coming into my dreams, but my first year of teaching in pre-primary, there was this child who threw a shoe at me. So that
Oh,
was something that I had never experienced before. And I'd like to say that, take help from the people that you're working with, your peers, the people, your heads. Take help from them, because their experience, learn from their experience in such cases. I mean, you don't have to do everything yourself. Like I said, it's always a teamwork. You don't have to do everything yourself. There are people out there who are willing to help you, but you need to ask them. No, nobody's just going to come and say, okay, okay, do it this way. So you need to ask, and you need to reach out to such people, and I'm sure that you will always find someone to help you out in such cases. These are very specific cases which require, more knowledge about them, more previous knowledge about these cases to be able to handle them. So offhand, I just can't say anything that do it this way and do it that way. These things differ from case to case. So always take help, I believe. Yes, Fatma.
right. Any tips for the parents, because they are sitting online, they are also learning, they are watching the teacher, they are being punctual. Any tips for the parents that you
Um,
would like to give?
okay, first of all, I think, a pat on the back. All the parents out there, you're doing a great job juggling so many things all together, and then this added responsibility. So, and everyone is doing a wonderful job. There are some things that we don't understand, like some things that I don't understand. So that is where I get frustrated, and that is the same with parents. There are some things that we don't understand, so we get frustrated. Like I said, in the first week, the parents of playgroup were really frustrated because they felt the children were not paying attention. But if I ask them after the second week has been over, I'm sure they will all say that the children have settled well. They recognize their teachers from this online class also. They know the names of their teachers. They are interacting with their teachers. So I would say that, patience. Even in school, some children take 2 days to settle, some children take 3 days, some children take 15 days also. So patience is something that we all need to have. It will take time, but it will happen. Don't worry. And what is more, this is difficult for you and me because this is not something that we've grown up with. But this little 3-year-old, this is something he's growing up with. So it's, he's like a fish to water. This is not going to be something new for him. So a little patience, and you're good to go. Yes, Fatma? Hello?
Yes, I'm so
Okay.
sorry. There was,
No, it's okay.
this load shedding thing is quite.
These are
Uh,
real issues that we are living with, Fatma.
yes, and we are actually, coping up with these problems and being on time for our students.
Yes, yes, yes.
So I missed all what you said. For the tips for the parents. I'm so sorry for that. I would like you to
Okay.
just repeat it. For you,
All
tips
right.
for the parents that.
Like I said, that I think, Fatma, that we are all doing a great job. The only thing that, as parents, we need to do is be a little patient. Like I said, children take time. So even in a real school environment, if a child is coming to school for the first time, it's going to take some children 2 days and some children 15 days to get used to their environment. Some children cry for up to a month also. So in the same way, this is a new thing for them, and they will take time to get used to it. And like I said, for you and me, this is something that we haven't grown up with. So it's something new that we are trying it out now. But for a little 3-year-old, this is something he's grown up with. So he's like a fish to water. He doesn't need, a lot of. The frustration is on our part, not on the child's part. For the child, is this is natural for him.
So
Yes,
one
Fatma.
question I would like as a head, mashallah, say you're a head. While hiring teachers in your
Hmm.
department, do you think it is necessary that that the teacher should have any training for ECE, or she might have any experience, or you have that thing that you can hire any teacher and then you can train her? What do you think, and what do you do while hiring teachers?
Okay. Now, see, it is an added bonus if if a teacher is already, trained and experienced. That is really great. But if because obviously an interview is face to face, and from what how the person talks and what they say, you can judge whether that person will be able to do things the way you want it in your organization. So that depends from person to person, from case to case. So I can't say that it is this way only or that way only. There are some great people we have who started out as as co-teachers or assistant teachers, but today they are, mashallah, in a position in the school because they had that in them, that drive, that passion. So when that drive and passion is there, then there's no stopping a person. And then they gain their experience and they gain their training on their own along the way. Yes, Fatma.
Right. So, on the concluding note, I would like to ask you to suggest teachers like me who are really scared of teaching such young children. What advice would you give to people like me who are, just running away from teaching all these small children? You give me secondary children, I love to, teach them, but I am so much. I actually get confused, if somebody says कि यार प्लीज इसको पढ़ा दो, ये तुमसे पढ़ेगा, तुम तो टीचर हो. So it's like, I started sweating. मैं कैसे पढ़ाऊंगी? I want you to give suggestions for people like me who are really scared of teaching early years students.
Okay. Like I said before, Fatma, that I also tried out, I also wanted to see, whether I can be, I taught secondary children also and primary children also, but I realized that, this is what I like to do. So if you like to teach secondary children, then why would you want to teach pre-primary? Don't do it. All right. But if this is what you want to do, then what I'd like to say is that, again, these are the most important things, that drive, that passion for what you're doing, that is going to take you a long way. So always have that with whatever you're doing. And if you don't have it, then don't do it. Find that thing that for which you have passion, and then go ahead and do it. So if your passion is teaching secondary, then do it, because you're going to be really good at it. If your passion is teaching, teachers or adults, then do that, because that is where you're going to be really good at. So that passion is very
Sometimes
important.
sometimes you come across people from our society. You are a teacher. You should be able to teach any level of the student. So it's like sometimes it's really hard to make them understand that it's not everybody's piece of cake. Everybody excels in their own department. But it was very nice, all that we spoke about, all that we talked about. One last thing I want you to just say yes or no, agree or disagree, is an ECE teacher should have the motherly qualities, yes or no? Like,
I'm
or she
sorry, I
should
missed
work
that. What
really
qualities?
professionally.
What qualities?
Motherly qualities.
All right. So I don't think you can, divide those two things. Professional qualities are just as important as having those nurturing qualities that you talk about. So I think both are just as important. So just having motherly qualities and not being a professional, because being professional, there are other aspects. So punctuality, like I said, or planning and all these are very important things. You can't just say that you know I am a good mother figure, so that means I'll be a good teacher. No, both things together are very, very important.
Yes, thank you so much for your kind words, for
Okay.
all that you shared with us, all your experience. It was wonderful talking to you, and
Thank
we
you,
could see
Fatma.
from our audience response also they loved having you, and we wish that you would keep on coming on our page, so to keep us motivated and keep us this is such a great thing, learning about early years. I learned a lot of things today from your section. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Fatma, and thank you for having me here. And if I've helped someone out there, even one person, I think all the credit goes to you people, because you have created this platform where people meet and talk to each other and get to know things from each other. So all the credit goes to you people, and thank you so much for having me here. I thoroughly enjoyed myself.
Thank you so much, and we will keep on disturbing you and keep on calling you also if we love your section. We love your section, and we love your section, and our audience love you too.
Sure,
Thank you
sure,
so much.
always, always. Thank you so much. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz. So this was Tasneem, ma'am Tasneem from Badri High School. It was lovely to have her on board. We learned a lot about early years education here, and mashallah, such an experienced person, such a polite personality. I thoroughly enjoyed her session, and I hope that all of you enjoyed as well. Thank you so much, and keep watching Skilled. We'll keep updating you with our new sessions. Thank you so much.